Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Hakwadash. Double honor to our apostles who are elders, who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. This Rob and live from Nebraska camp, which is GMS NE Fort Nebraska. Just wanted to go over a little lesson, man, the perpetual hatred of Edom, okay? Uh, and that perpetual hatred, you know, what our people have to key in on is that this hatred goes back to the beginning of with Jacob and Esau. Really Cain and Abel, if you want to be honest. But when you're talking about the point is that this hatred is not based off of cause and effect of this current time. There's nothing you can do to make Esau rise up off of his hatred. Okay, and that type of hatred, put in 90s terms, late 90s, early 2000s, some player hating shit, and they are very devious. They're very, they can go very low, all right? And within that, it can cause a lot of problems, okay? So, so we're going to go into Isaiah 26 in verse 10, and it says here, let favor be showed to the wicked, right? You can be nice to him. You can act like, all right, I forgive you for slavery and this and that, right? Yet will he not learn righteousness, and in the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and will not uphold the majesty of the Lord. See, so he will not. What it say? He will not in the land of uprightness. He will not slack it. Yet he will not learn righteousness in the land of uprightness. He will not. He will deal unjustly. And the laws they within their law system, their constitution, just like with the slavery thing, the made man, every man equal, but that wouldn't qualify for Jake because Jake was slaves at that time. That's unjust. They omit judgment. They flip the rules. They'll play rules when it comes to Jake and morals when it comes to Esau. Or he's just a kid. Just like I said with the Shador situation. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the kid that was playing a prank call, he's just a kid. But Shador himself, they prank call him, they making fun. I hope he loses. I hope he gets the hell up out of here. And because he's a showboat. He's this, he's that. And you could point out the negatives. And that's the cunning devised fables that Esau does. He demonizes. Okay, he does a really good job at that as well. And he pretty much he always, just go look at the comment boards, any Jake doing something good. Esau is always there to remind the world of Jake's worst situation, their worst moment. You know what I'm saying? And our people don't realize that we're dealing with a menace, man. We're dealing with someone that'll go through great lengths to ensure our downfall. Okay? And I want to read an excerpt within the book of Judith that proves that. And before we get that, because we always reference the scripture, okay? So we go into Psalms 137 and 7. It says, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundation thereof. And they were saying, erase it. All right? And this is their energy, bro. Like anything that Jake do good, and that's what 2/3 of our people don't understand, because they be trying to grow, WEB the boys type of mentality to infiltrate from within, in which he was a sellout, just like Martin Luther King was a sellout. You know what I'm saying? But he was he had the sellout puppet piping of, oh, we can win from within, aka you go and get degrees, you because when we were fighting for so-called freedom in America through civil rights, it wasn't a fight to be equal okay, with Esau. Jake was originally fighting to not be a slave and to live their life freely like a normal person. It wasn't, oh man, y'all doing so good, we deserve a piece of y'all pie. That was not it. It turned into that through people like Martin Luther King and W.E.B. Du Bois and other leaders, other puppet leaders, because ultimately they wanted to incorporate everybody into this system. Okay, it doesn't mean that they're not racist. All right, I was just watching a video with the good old boys when they were protesting. I forget what event they were protesting at, but they were protesting, and there are counter protesters that came, and they ended up jumping in the U-Haul. Then they moved to a different location, and the same cop that told them to get in the U-Haul went and met them at their second location, and they was trying to get a service dog back, and pretty much all the niggas was, not all of them, but one of them definitely was identified as a police officer. Okay, I'm talking about the person that was showing up with the mask, the good old boy, white power. One of them was definite as a police officer. All right, because Esau got these laws and stipulations where you can't so-called assume, or they get to sue you or drop your video and things like that because of their laws and things that they put in place. Okay, but the point is that they conspired. All right, Jake be thinking that they could go and get a degree, and if I go and get this degree, then that'll open this door. Then I walk through this door as long as I do. No, bro, like you have to do 5 times as much. You have to be perfect because Esau is all about the rules with Jake. He's understanding. Oh, you're new. He'll be all right. Let him get. Oh, he's not fit. If it's Jake, oh, he ain't fit for the job. You know what I'm saying? And that's like the mentality, and it could get swept under the rug because they'll sit there and say, yeah, he wasn't qualified because he did X, Y, and Z. Same thing like when Jake gets shot up. Oh, he was resisting arrest. Like that don't warrant getting shot. Oh, he had a criminal record. That don't warrant getting shot for that. All right, if you got a criminal record for stealing and you went to jail, and then you get out. Ain't you supposed to be, because ain't you supposed to be forgiven? But Esau used that, and it'll catch him up because then you enslave Jake. Then you murder Jake, then you kill him, then you do wickedness to them. And you're saying because on our end, you're saying because if pretty much once a criminal, always a criminal, then what is it for you then? Because you're the one that's executing this type of judgment, right? But it ain't like they don't know how to judge. They know how to, well, they don't know how to judge, but they know what they're doing in their judgment. And they're resting judgment. They're stretching it, they're manipulating it, they're bending it. And the scriptures tell you that you're not supposed to rest judgment. All right? Let's see if I can get that real quick. So you go into Exodus chapter 23, verse 6. It says, thou shalt not rest the judgment of thy poor in his cause. All right? And the Lord said, we are the poor. All right? But we are rich in his word. All right? It says, when you go into rest, it says, in want, needy, chiefly, poorly, needy person. I don't think this is it. It's like a thing to poor. So let's go to rest. It says to stretch out, extend, spread out, pitch, turn, pervert, incline, bend, bow. To stretch out, extend, stretch, offer. All right. To pitch, to bend, turn, incline, turn aside, incline, down, to bend, bow, to hold out, extend, stretch out, turn, incline, influence, bend, down, hold out, extend, thrust, aside, thrust away. And omission is one of those tactics that they use to rest judgment. All right. Or they'll literally, you know, make crack a certain level of years compared to cocaine. They would have a war on crack, but with fentanyl, they're operating different. This is many examples of resting judgment. It's many examples. There's examples. They'll sit there and say, "Oh, Jake killed somebody. All you monkeys, y'all. This is what y'all do." But when you go into the statistics, they at the top of the list for a lot of fucking crimes. Really, all the crimes. Okay. Now it goes based off the demographic as well. Then you got the per capita. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, Esau is committing a lot of crimes, and they'll tell you will never know because they always on Jake's mistakes. They're micromanaging our tendencies, and they only point out our shortcomings. You know, I was just reading a book with Elon Musk, man, and it was something about his rocket going into the air and it hitting the second stage, and they had like the swishing around of the rocket fuel, and the rocket fuel started sputtering, and they lost the fuel, and then Elon went and pretty much said it was the engineer fault. He called him out by name. He said he did this screw or something like that to get the sensor and this and that, and he called him out by name, and that guy, that name got called out, got mad and was like, "Hey man, take that back." You know what I'm saying? Why? Because that shit means a lot, man. You're putting out a narrative of incompetence, and they know that. That's why they do it. That's why they're quick to run and point out our incompetence, because it makes the world think we're incompetent. All right? I can sit here and make 83s, and Esau report the one I miss. He out here missing threes. He'll go up to the coach. He missing threes, and I missed 2 threes out of fucking 98 or 100. You know what I'm saying? And you say, oh, he out here missing threes, and you omit the 98 that I made. And now you got this guy thinking that I don't know how to shoot threes. This is the way and the tactics of Esau, right? So when we go into the book of Judah, it's going to give you a biblical account of that type of action. In Judah 7 and 8, it says, then came unto him all the chief of the children of Esau, and all the governors of the people of Moab, the Chinese. Okay? It says, and the captains of the seacoast, and said, let our Lord now hear a word, that there be not an overthrow in thy army. Because what happened was Babylon was through his captains. He had 2 captains set up. You know what I'm saying? And the captain was laying siege on Israel because we used high hills as a defense, getting high ground, and arches and things like that. And Esau came and was like, hey, don't go up there for no fucking reason. No reason, man. Right? This is the thing. That's the catalyst. Imagine you doing anything. You're just going to a grocery store and shopping, and then somebody that's just grocery shopping see you, and because you're a Jake, they're looking at spine, and they go to a security guard and say, I think he's stealing. Like, that's some pure going out your way hate. That's far past a Karen. All right? You're going out your way. Well, that's just like a Karen. You know, with the lemonade and all that, you making sure Jake don't. This is Esau in their nature. And our people need to understand, when you get a degree, it ain't going to make you friendly with them. Only thing that Esau get cool with Jacob about is when you're doing what they want you to do. Okay? So when they tell you to hop, and you hop, when they tell you sit, you sit, they cool with you until the car park. You know what I'm saying? They're going to abandon you when they don't need you anymore. Just like they did with the rest of Jake. And Jake don't understand that, because Jake is still needed. They need these puppet leaders. They need women with degrees in high positions. So they're going to be on your team. They're going to defend you. When you go to court, they're going to defend you because they need you on their side, right? But when they don't need you, they're going to treat you like the rest of Jake. All right? It says, verse 10, for this people of the children of Israel do not trust in their spears, but in the height of the mountains wherein they dwell, because it is not easy to come up to the tops of their mountains. Now therefore, my Lord, fight not against them in battle array, and there shall not so much as one man of thy people perish. Remain in thy camp, and keep all the men of thy army, and let thy servants get into their hands the fountain of water, which issueth forth out of the foot of the mountain. For all the inhabitants of Bethel have their water thence, so shall thirst kill them, and they shall give up their city, and we and our people shall go up to the tops of the mountains that are near, and will camp upon them to watch that none go out of the way. So, because they was making sure when we try to escape, they'll grab us. So that's extra fucking hate. You know what I'm saying? That's going out your way to make sure why? What event happened? There's no documented event that happened to where there's a cause and effect to Esau doing that type of hate. We ain't going there and pillage them and beat the hell out of them until there was nothing and then say, all right, you know what I'm saying? No, it goes back to the birthright. All right. It says, and they'll go and conspire and find any type of way to demonize Jake and make sure Jake is at the bottom, man. And that's like pivotal and important for our people to understand, because they think because Esau's smiling in their face that he's cool with them. No, he's using you, dummy. He's using you. And when he's done with you, he's gonna toss you and throw you away like a paper plate. All right. So let's get this last precept. We'll end it there. All right. When we go to Ezekiel chapter 35 and 3, it says, and say unto it, thus said the Lord, behold, O Mount Seir. Mount Seir is who? Esau, the so-called white man. I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. That's the Most High speaking against Edom. And I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Because thou hast had a what? A perpetual. And perpetual means never ending. A perpetual hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. You know what I'm saying? And for us brothers within this gospel, and this is very important because we go through a lot of hatred. You know, even 2/3, everybody that's an Israelite go through the hate, dealing with the hatred of Esau, unless you're being a puppet for them. You know what I'm saying? They still gonna think low on you, but they don't get so offensive and on the attack on those type of people. You know, but our people need to understand that these guys are not for our turn. That there's a hatred that digs deeper than if you not a rapper, you got no, man. These people hate our existence because our existence took their birthright. Our existence is better than them. There's a lot that's attached to that, and their spirit witness against that, and they're gonna resist and fight against it, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they try to sit upon the throne, upon the nest of the stars, set their nest among the stars. All right, which is talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. Also, a double meaning of our people. Esau, not our people, but Esau going into outer space with his space stations. Okay, but the point is that our people need to understand that there's nothing you can do. There's no can't beat them, join them mentality. You can't start your own thing. They have a perpetual hatred. They want to see us out of here, but they need us as human beings, and it's a really bad look to create genocide in this time. So they have ways that they do it through prison, through medical castration, through medical killing, all right, through food, all right, through propaganda and things like that. That's why they paint us in a bad light, so you could be thrown in jail. That's why they over sexualize the women and make the men hyper violent. All right, because all that's a destructive nature to building. When a woman's hypersexual, she may have babies, but she don't know who the father is. Without a father, there's no structure in the home. All right, and then those women raise men that are hyper emotional, which is going to make with testosterone that creates hyper violence. All right, and they click out because they don't have no emotional intelligence. They go to jail. All right, poverty. Since they're going to find a way out, do something illegal, go to jail. And then you set laws up that not only incarcerate them, but ensure that they never leave. Again, how they did with crack compared to how they're doing with fentanyl. All right? They're giving out pipes and forget what you call that, the little extra shit so you can do your drugs. They sitting there and giving these people the tools and having empathy and saying, well, I know it's, you got to wean off it. But they weren't doing that to no damn crackheads, man. All right? They ain't even got no war on fentanyl, man. With the people that's dealing it. There is nothing. You know what I'm saying? But, we're not judged the same as the world, man. And we're not going to be judged the same as the world as long as he's in rulership. You know? So with that being said, I'm gonna give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekakwadash, double honors to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth sincerity. Shalom.